think you know who I am. It's time to talk about Treehouse for the 5,000th time. This is Treehouse TV shows summarized for you. These are multiple Treehouse TV shows that I'm going to talk about briefly. Anyways, quit the yapping. Let's get right into it. So first off, we have Tupi and Binu. Tupi and Binu. Where is it? Let's just get this. Tupi and Binu was created. The books were created in 1998. However, originally by some Dominique Sean guy. I definitely didn't say that right. I'm not French. Don't nuke me or something like that. Some French dude, I guess, he made some Tupi Binu books. It was adapted into a series in 2005 until 2006 and had exactly 104 episodes in the first season. Second season then later came out, and this one was like 2-minute specials for Magic You Got New Fabulous You, which basically used the viewers at home to help Tupi Binu solve different everyday problems. Then in 2013, around April 7th, Tupi and Binu from Zoom, though actually all the way back in March of that year, 2013, there was a Tupi Binu app picture leak. The Tupi and Binu from Zoom, this is when Vroom Zoom came out. Vroom Zoom was definitely disliked. It used, instead of animation, puppets to do the episodes about Tupi Binu solving problems. This is also around the time where Spectre Animation became Echo Media, as the rebrand occurred in 2012. And after from Zoom, Treehouse has not worked on any Tupi Binu products or anything. Probably because Chorus is in absolutely terrible financial debt right now. Over $1 billion. That's a brief mention of Tupi Binu. Let's go into the characters. Tupi, a mouse with a huge imagination. He likes to imagine things, and he's more optimistic and energetic. Binu, a small white cat who is nonverbal and uses logic to and uses actions to explain. He uses logic often. And Patchy Patch is his stuffed toy. That is an overview of Tupi and Binu. You could probably go find like any one of my videos, and I'm gonna have a better explanation of Tupi and Binu than that, but who cares? Next we have Thomas and Friends, which isn't a Treehouse show, but it aired on Treehouse, so it counts. Thomas and Friends is a show from 1983, though actually the books date back all the way to the 1900s. The original pilot was made in 1953 that was catastrophic, let's say, and that pilot will never be found. Anyways, the actual show was created around the mid-1980s by, other people. Ray Allcroft, I think, it was the person who created Thomas and Friends, who is sadly dead now, rip. Honestly, she was great. Thomas and Friends is about a show about talking trains that have to solve everyday problems. Thomas has a blue, cheeky little engine, I guess. James is a very prideful red engine. And there's that, I guess. Overall, Thomas and Friends was one of the most popular kids shows at the time, and even to this day, a lot of people remember the show. Actually, last year the pilot was found by Mattel themselves. Thomas and Friends used to air on Treehouse back then, in the days. But it still does now, but in the form of its actually disgusting, awful, horrid reboot, All Engines Go. Ain't nobody like that. Ugh. That's Thomas and Friends pretty much summarized. It aired on Treehouse. What else do I gotta tell you? Next, we have another one of my favorite Treehouse shows, Foursquare, which is definitely a hot take. Almost nobody likes this show, though a couple people do, so definitely don't say nobody. Foursquare is a show where there's 4 different segments with different people that teach kids how to do simple things, such as singing for the purple square, poetry in the green square, exercising and movements in the orange square, and what the heck does the B team even do? Beats? Rhythm, I think. These are simple, basic skills that are taught this way in certain ways so kids can learn how to do these things. With these vibrant visuals and more. Though personally, I don't know how the heck the orange square costumes got past, the people running the show. Do not look at their costumes, trust me. You're gonna see why. Man, it's a long story. But anyways, Foursquare was quite hated at the time, specifically the orange square, for a lot of controversial reasons. And, I get it, but I like Foursquare. Anyways, what happens in each square? In the purple square, they sing. Introduced by these four women singing songs, and then these four puppets called the doo-wahs. The doo-wahs are there to help the person across the screen sing along. The viewer sings along with what the doo-wahs say by slowly going over the lines and learning them all together. In the orange square, Captain Hapet, the leader, gives basically these little movements, and these are demonstrated by three other people. Once the demonstrations are done, so you can watch them, then you do the demonstration. Then you do the action yourself. In the green square, a woman named Pei comes on screen to do a poem. Another random kid, either Paige, Josh, or Keen. It's random, though 90% of the time it's either Paige or Joshua, so who cares? We'll learn the poem from Pei. Then you follow the poem with the kid, and then you repeat it all together. In the blue square, the beat team goes over different little fun rhythms that you follow along. That's Foursquare. Foursquare Season 1 started in 2003. Season 2, 2006. Season 3, 2007. Overall, the show had 39 episodes, 13 per season, and had 10 DVD releases. And the only companies to help create this were Treehouse and Chorus, so who cares? That was actually a decently long segment for Foursquare. Let's get into another show. My big friend. Now, I don't have the most extensive knowledge of this show. I only know very bland and basic stuff. So here's my big friend. It was a show created in the early 2010s, late 2000s by Treehouse TV, TV Brazil, and Breakthrough Entertainment. My bad, Judy Lab, for not crediting you, lol. It's about these three kids that play with their imaginary big friends, going on little fun adventures and stuff. The characters are Matt, Yuri, Lily, Nessa, Bongo, and Big Goliath. And I believe that Goliath gets scared easily or something like that. And Lily's bossy, but that's as far as I know from this show. I barely ever watched this show. It had 2 seasons. There's 2 seasons, I guess. Yeah, I barely know anything about this show. Let's get into something I have more knowledge about. Max and Ruby is next, and this is definitely a classic. Here's the tape of it. Anybody who lived in Canada or the US or anywhere in North America, you'll remember Max and Ruby. Either aired on Nickelodeon, Treehouse, or whatever garbage channel you got. But usually Nickelodeon or Treehouse, depending on where you lived. But anyways, Max and Ruby basically followed one almost practically non-verbal 3-year-old named Max who barely talked, and his older sister Ruby. Amazing. She is a more responsible one, I guess. And honestly, if I were her, I'd be panicking like she is right now, because she has to take care of a 3-year-old, but by herself. Yeah, the parents are not there in the show. More on that another time. Anyway, basically Ruby's trying to do responsible girl and girly stuff, but Max always gets in the way with his fire truck. Basically, Max is obsessed with fire trucks and lobsters, and honestly, respect to him. Those are the most respectable things ever. And there's a slight moralization to this show, too. There were 5 seasons. We're not talking about the new one. That one's garbage. There were 5 actually good seasons of the show. Season 1 was around 2002. Same with Season 2 as well, around that time. Season 3 was around 2006. Season 4 and Season 5, I genuinely forgot, but those did exist. Made by 9 Story Silver Lining, Korean, and Treehouse TV, and Nelvana. Wow, that's a lot of companies for one little kid's show. This show, to this day, airs on Treehouse, usually in the new seasons, but sometimes they bring the old seasons back. So yeah, very important to note. I just realized I completely forgot to talk about when shows ran on Treehouse. My bad. If you ever have any questions about that, ask me, I guess. That's Max and Ruby. It's also one of their, most successful shows, probably. I don't know. The Band Same Bears is another one that you probably remember watching on Treehouse. that for no reason got moved to YTV a while back, like in 2006. But then it's now on Treehouse sometimes. The Berenstain Bears is about these two little bears named Brother Bear and Sister Bear, peak name design, going on basically little like adventures, everyday life, basically learning morals, pretty much. Just in their everyday lives, like in their city or at school or at their home. Berenstain Bears was a definite classic. It had DVD release and VHS release. Though if you know anything, that's not the first version of Berenstain Bears. The actual first one's from 1985 by Random House. But who cares about that when we're talking about the actual good one, which is from 2002 by Nelvana and Treehouse at Go-Go and some other random companies like, oh yeah, PBS. It might have aired on PBS for you or Treehouse or whatever. But Berenstain Bears was a pretty cool show. It had 80 episodes for some reason. Yeah, it was a long series. And yeah, Berenstain Bears was pretty successful. And if you want to see a VHS release that I have of it, here's one of them. That's the Berenstain Bears for you. Franklin is up next, I guess. I'm really questioning. I barely watch Franklin. Don't expect anything good out of me for this one. So Franklin is this green turtle who goes on adventures with his other animal friends, like this beaver, I guess. And why can't I remember any of them? There was a hare, I think. Yeah. Franklin was made by Nelvana in the 2000s. There's also a Franklin and Friends reboot from 2011. It used to air on Treehouse back in for a while. Doesn't anymore. There's that, I guess. Yeah, that was a horrible segment. Yeah, my bad for that horrible segment on Franklin. But let's do an actually good one. Harry and his bucket full of dinosaurs. Let's just call it Harry's Dinos for short, because ain't nobody saying the full name. Second last segment of today. Harry's Dinos was a really interesting Treehouse show. At one point aired on Disney Junior for some reason. Basically, this show was a boy named Harry who was in preschool. Why is every Treehouse character in preschool? Probably to match the viewers who are probably in preschool watching this too. So, he was a little preschooler who jumped into a bucket to go to a live place of dinosaurs. Like, a different, reality where dinosaurs could talk and still live, you know? He'd go on these adventures with dinosaurs and stuff. There was a blue one, a red one, a triceratops, a pterodactyl. I know nothing about dinosaurs. This show was created in the 2000s, like all of these shows, by CCI Entertainment. What is that company? And Treehouse, of course. I think there were a couple of seasons of the show, though I could be wrong. Wait, Teletoon also pitched in for that one, too, sometimes. A couple of episodes have Teletoon at the end, meaning that company also helped out this show. Teletoon is no longer in existence. So, yeah, this show was interesting. He had a friend, a mom, a nanny, and I think those are most of the characters in the show that I just listed. I don't know when it got taken off the air. It was probably close to 2016, though. Because it's not like this thing was taken off in 2012 or something. Not too bad of a show. Last segment. This might be dumb. In the Night Garden. In the Night Garden is not a Treehouse show, but it aired on Treehouse, and Treehouse made the DVDs for it, so even more of a reason to include this in Thomas. In the Night Garden was a show, I don't know when exactly it was made, by BBC and CBeebies and Ragdoll, about 6 random creatures exploring their massive garden. Iggle Piggle, a blue character, this guy, who had a red blanket that he was obsessed with. Upsy Daisy, she likes flowers and has a bed. She has a darker skin and some random clothes on. Macca Packa, the best character ever. He lived in a cave, and he had lots of stones, and some soap and stuff. I don't know why he likes stones and soap, but cannot disrespect that. Tommy Boos. Tommy Boos are little characters that wear trousers. Why is that important? And they have blocks, I guess, and they live in a little like mountain thing. They live in this actually. I don't know how they fit through that. The Pontypines are very tiny red creatures that just exist. They have neighbors too. They're called the Watsingers, but they literally appear for like 2 episodes only. How do they get around? Well, they use Pinky Ponk, which is a flying vehicle that can fly around the night garden, or the Ninky Nonk, which is a land vehicle with five actually, but different parts here. 1, 2, 3, tiny Pontypine one and tiny one at the back. 5 parts that they use to get around the place. Commonly used around the show. And there's also Habus, I guess. I don't know what they do. There's a gazebo, though, that they always go to at the end of every episode. And one more thing. I don't think Ickle Pickle lives on the island. Ickle Pickle, according to my theories here, he always sails away from the island at the beginning and end of episodes. Therefore, Ickle Pickle does not live on the island. Well, that was a bunch of Treehouse shows overview. That's your guide to some Treehouse shows. If you ever want me to actually talk about these shows better, just ask me or something, because some of these shows I did a really bad job talking about. Looking at you, Franklin. But some of them I did okay with. So yep, hope you guys enjoyed this Treehouse overview. And I'll see you guys on the next video. And until then, happy Valentine's Day, of course. Everybody have some good Valentine's, do some stuff, eat chocolates, because who doesn't like chocolate? Bye!